Welcome to New York on this wonderful spring day as it snows. So Apple has their new MacBook lined up for a release come April. However, many people are wondering if the California giant is actually going to be successful with the launch of this new type of computer. The new MacBook, of course, is gorgeous. It's insanely thin, wonderful, has a Retina display, very thin, and comes in black, silver, and of course, gold. However, Apple had to make a handful of compromises when it came to this computer. But of everything that Apple had to compromise on, the biggest and the absolute one that everyone was watching definitely had to be the addition of USB-C. Now, I am going to make a video about this in the near future explaining this more in depth, but basically this is a single cable that allows you to transfer power, video, and data over a single USB cord. And because Apple added this, it essentially replaced every other port that you would typically find on an Apple laptop. This even took away MagSafe, which honestly has saved my MacBook Pro more times than I want to recount. Now, to some, this was a great move. This is adding a reversible USB port on their MacBook. It's smaller, it's faster. The downside about this is that it is the only port on the entire computer. Now, to get my thoughts out of the way right now, I don't think this is going to hurt Apple in any way, and I don't think it's going to hurt the line of computers resembling this MacBook going forward. The dongles that Apple is going to include to allow connectivity to multiple devices at once, of course, Apple is going to incredibly boost the price since you really have no other choice of getting them. But I think this is going to be a small inconvenience in the short run, and I also think that buying the extra peripherals to connect to SD cards and other sources is going to be a minimal issue as well going forward. But I truly do see this as a step in the right direction for Apple. Back in 2008, I remember watching Steve Jobs introduce the MacBook Air to everyone at Macworld 2008. To see a laptop that thin, something that not many of us had ever seen from Apple before or from anyone else, was astounding. However, many people were skeptical when they saw only one USB port, no DVD drive, it was incredibly slow compared to its other computers, and it had an $1,800 price tag, and that was for the non-solid-state drive model. The solid-state drive model practically went up to $3,000 in price. However, by 2013, Apple had a new line of computers that all took influence from the MacBook Air introduced in 2008. Later in 2008, Apple unveiled the new MacBooks and MacBook Pros, both of which took the influence from the MacBook Pro by incorporating unibody enclosures, and later on would end up getting rid of the DVD drives entirely. And Apple also took influence in their desktop computers with the iMac and the Mac Pro and the Mac Mini all losing their DVD drives and becoming thinner and made out of aluminum bodies. And by 2013, when I would go on to buy a 15-inch Retina MacBook that didn't have a DVD drive, it was single-handedly one of the greatest investments I made, and I had no need for a DVD drive this entire time that I've had the computer. This is basically what the new MacBook is, a look at how Apple will one day make their future notebooks and desktop computers. But for now, it is still more of a computer to bridge the gap between notebooks and tablets. A computer like this you wouldn't even consider to buy to make movies or work Photoshop, but you would buy it as an extension of what you would want to do with an iPad. The new MacBook was basically made to be an extension of the iPad, but running a Mac OS instead of the iOS. You would buy a computer like this if you wanted to just check email, surf the web, watch Netflix, anything that required minimal processing power. With so few physical ports, it is clear that this computer was made for a generation of wireless technologies that haven't exactly come to the market yet. And I don't mean that in terms of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Obviously, those are already here. What I'm talking about are products that actually incorporate this to a consumer level and make it very easy to connect and share data across devices. Devices like our iPhones and other devices that incorporate AirPlay are devices that definitely help ease us into this ecosystem a little bit, but it is going to take universal adoption in order to assure everybody who is looking at this computer that they're going to have plenty of products that they can use with it wirelessly. And one day, Apple is going to make their 13 and 15-inch variants of their computers exactly like this. they're probably only going to have USB-C. Maybe they'll have another port, maybe an SD card slot. I don't know. But all I do know is that once the processing power comes up, the storage goes up, they are definitely going to be incorporating this design and this thinking into their 13 and 15-inch computers. Maybe even one day you could be running Final Cut Pro 10 on a computer that is designed just like the new MacBook. Now, with everything that I've just said, I wouldn't go out and buy this computer. The reason I say that is because this is the first stage of its evolution. I wouldn't have gone out and bought the first MacBook Air either. However though, the version that came right afterwards was significantly improved, even had a new updated design for the body itself. What I would wait before I go out and buy the new MacBook would definitely be more storage, a lower price point, a faster processor, and, crossing fingers, an HD webcam. But this does look to be the beginning of something incredible for Apple. It isn't too often that we get to see the beginnings of something great that will forever change the way a company designs all of their future products.